ladies, I'm here on the show, and start of a busy afternoon and night here, recapping all these sports, but first we're going to talk about the NFL trading deadline. We're going to do a Landon special. I do this pretty much every year at the trading deadline for really every sport when they're, to be honest. Well, first thing I'm talking about isn't a trade, but still, I didn't think this trading deadline would have many blockbusters, but we had 2 blockbuster trades that went down. But let's get this first thing, get through this quickly. Some QB news though in Arizona. The Cardinals are sticking with Jacoby Brissett as their starter for Sunday's game in Seattle. Jonathan Gannon named Jacoby Brissett as the starter for just Sunday at Seattle. It gives the team clarity and knowledge on a short week. And sources confirmed Kyler Murray and the Cardinals have consulted with multiple doctors on his foot injury and have been told the timetables for recovery have been anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks with an increased chance of setback until it's properly healed. He now has more time to heal. So that's some QB news. And there are actually 8 trades today, tied for the second most on any deadline day, going back to 1990. So actually a lot of trades. Well, let's get into it. So the Saints are trading offensive lineman Trevor Penning to the Chargers. Per source, trade comp is Saints traded offensive lineman Trevor Penning to the Chargers for a 2027 6th-round pick. They've lost both their starting tackles for the rest of the season. Joe Wald and obviously Rashawn Slater's been out since preseason. So, they got an offensive lineman. Trevor Penning hasn't been that great so far in his NFL career. We'll see how he does, though, with Jim Harbaugh. So, as expected, A.J. Brown, Eagles receiver, has not been and will not be traded today. I don't know who. Did anybody think A.J. Brown was going to get traded? Big news for dumbasses right there. I'm shocked, man. So shocked. A.J. Brown didn't get traded, man. Despite getting calls for Jalen Waddle and Bradley Chubb, the Dolphins did not make another deal before the deadline and opted to hold on to both. I'm hearing Dolphins fans already want Champ Kelly fired. That's what I'm hearing. Dumbasses. What are they holding their players for? What are they going to do? Go 4-13 again next year? Okay, I get you want to hold on to Jalen Waddle. I get it. But not moving Chubb is mind-boggling, unless you're not getting any offers, which they might not have got any offers, honestly, but if you got an offer, you should have fucking took it no matter what the fuck it was. You trade the young edge rusher and Jalen Phillips, but keep the aging vet on a big contract. I guess because Jalen Phillips has an expiring contract, but still, dude. Jalen Waddle, I get not trading, but Bradley Chubb, you should have traded him. Keep scrolling through here. So we had a blockbuster trade that went down. My Dallas Cowboys received defensive tackle Quentin Williams. I guess that was a big trade Jerry Jones was talking about. I didn't actually believe it was actually going to be a big trade. I was actually shocked. But the New York Jets traded 3-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle Quentin Williams to the Cowboys. First, Sauce Gardner, which we'll get into, and now on the same day, Quentin Williams traded their 2 All-Pro defensive players. Their second blockbuster trade of the day. I'm surprised we actually bought at the deadline. But the Jets, they got a 2020 future first-round pick in 2027 and a second-round pick this year, which is a slight bit too much, but I see why they had to offer that, because they had to offer Mozzie Smith, so they had to do something for that trade to go down. But I like how they didn't trade Breece Hall, but they traded their 2 star defensive players. But yeah, I like the move. Quentin Williams is an elite defensive tackle, 3-time Pro Bowler. I love the move for sure. I mean, we gave up that first round pick in 2027, but honestly, it's worth it. because we haven't had an elite defensive tackle like that in a while. So I like the move personally. Like I said last night, I don't know if any trade's going to save this team, but getting Quinn Williams could be a good addition for the next few seasons, for sure. But I'm just glad we got fucking rid of Mozzie Smith. Dude's trash. Maybe he'll get a shot for the Jets. But the trade terms are the Jets get the hire of the Cowboys' 2 first-round picks in 2027 their own, or Green Bay's. So, Jets get a first-round pick out of this. Keep scrolling through here. Just so much shit went down today. But with the Jets draft picks after today's trades, 2026 with the obviously their pick and the Colts, they have two second round picks, 2 first, 2 seconds, and 2027 3 first round picks, which is crazy. It's a lot of draft picks there trying to rebuild that disaster franchise. But, man, there's some notable trades. The 2 big notable trades, both involving the Jets today. But this was the big trade. I would say the biggest trade. The Colts are trading 2 first-round picks to the Jets for cornerback Sauce Gardner. I did not expect Sauce Gardner to get traded. I really didn't. Giving up 2 first-round picks seems like a lot. I get it. I really do. It may seem like an overpay. But I feel like he's been damn good. I feel like he's been really damn good this year and gets really hated for no reason. Like, he has the highest cornerback rate since entering the NFL. And teams barely throw to him. Barely have to throw to him. Maybe you don't think he's worth 2 first-round picks, and the Jets could easily whip him on these 2 picks, so it won't matter. But first-round picks in the NFL are extremely valuable. And they're going to pay Daniel Jones probably a huge extension. But I feel like Sauce Gardner hasn't been that bad. I mean, but as a part of this trade, the Jets are also reviewing receiver A.D. Mitchell in this trade. So the Jets will get A.D. Mitchell. Yeah, the Jets very well did very well here. I felt both teams did well. You know, Colts get something they need in the corner, and the Jets get some first round picks though. So the full trade is the Colts get Sauce Gardner, the Jets get 2 first round picks and A.D. Mitchell. But I will say the Jets did kind of fleece him. When I say Sauce Gardner, I don't think he's that bad. I don't think he's like complete trash like everybody thinks. I'm not saying he's the greatest cornerback ever, but I think it's a good move for the Colts to add a defensive player. But I don't know if they had to give 2 first-round picks, but that's probably what the Jets were asking for, and they're probably fucking desperate to contend this year, so I get it. The Saints are trading receiver Rashid Shaheed to the Seahawks per source. I like this move, man. Dude's a speed demon down the field. Man, going from the tanking 1-8 Saints to the 6-2 Seahawks. I really like this move, man. He reunites with a Kubiak, I believe. And the Seahawks are sending a 2026 4th and 5th round picks to the Saints in exchange for Rashid Shaheed. He's one of the most explosive downfield receivers in the NFL. He's a perfect weapon to add for the Seahawks. So that's a great move right there by the Seahawks. Love this move here. The Browns are sending defensive end Joe Tyron Shoyinak and a 7th round pick to Chicago Bears in exchange for a 6th round pick. Because they lost Odeyingbo to a season-ending Achilles injury. Bang? What the fuck is this? Man, we talk about all these trades and then I see this shit. Get this shit out of my face. Keep scrolling through here. But yeah, also with that Colts move, that Jets move, they literally signed Sauce Gardner to a 4-year, $120.4 million extension this offseason. And a few months later, he's traded to the 7-2 Colts. His trade deadline is absolute cinema. Absolute cinema. We had another trade that went down. The Raiders are trading receiver Jacoby Myers to the Jacksonville Jaguars in exchange for 4th and 6th round picks. Multiple teams, including the Steelers and Jaguars, had shown interest in Myers, who is scheduled to become a free agent after his contract expires this season. So, man, Jaguars, that's a good move for the Jaguars. You know, adding him with Brian Thomas on that offense. I thought he was going to be a Steeler, personally. But, you know, I feel like he's having a solid season for what he can. You know, he's a great teammate for the Raiders, hard working, a 1K receiver spot. Dude is the opposite of a D receiver. At least they still have Bowers and Jeanty for the future. And this will get the rookies more playing time, like Beck and Dante Thornton. And Jacoby Myers has been solid this year in the games he's played, so... But he played against the Jaguars on Sunday. He's now joining them today, so... We had that trade. The Jaguars came in today with a projected 13 picks. They traded a 4th and a 6th, so they still have, 11 picks left between 2026, so... And they also... injuries have hit their receivers lately, so they made a good move here. Steelers officially signed MVS to their practice squad. Who gives a shit? A deal for the Cowboys. They finalized a trade to acquire Bengals linebacker Logan Wilson. He signed a 4-year, $36 million extension in July 2023. And that still has 2 years remaining on it after this season. I don't think it's going to help our problems, but all we did was give up a 7th round pick, so... And he was their leading tackler from 2021 to 2023, so hopefully he can at least tackle. That's all I'm hoping for. But he did get benched on the Bengals defense, so that's not promising. If they gave up a 7th round pick, I mean, I'm not even going to complain about this. If it doesn't work out, oh well, it's a 7th round pick. Who gives a shit? So, let's see what we got from JP Football. So, apparently, per your report, the Chiefs offered a 4th round pick for the Jets for Breece Hall. But the Jets held firm on wanting a 3rd. He was almost a Chief. But instead, say with the Jets, this is awkward as it became public that he wanted out. What are you holding on to your 3rd round pick for? For what? They always draft the end of the 3rd anyway, so it's almost a 4th, I guess, but this makes no sense. Breece Hall, his ass ain't coming back next year. So if it was me, I would just trade him, because he expressed a desire to be traded. He wants out after those blockbusters, so... A part of that Jets trade, I think I mentioned a little bit, Mozzie Smith is also a part of that trade. Mozzie gone, thank God. It was a bust. So the calls came in for edge rusher Jermaine Johnson. The Jets offers included a 2nd round pick, but they didn't trade him. And we had a trade that happened yesterday. The Ravens acquired Draymond Jones from the Titans in exchange for a 2026 conditional 5th round pick. The conditional 5th round pick from the Ravens, originally Jets' 5th, becomes a 4th if the Ravens make the playoffs, and he has 2 sacks the rest of the regular season. So with that trade that went down yesterday, that one little trade. But yeah, that's a trading deadline special. 2 blockbusters. I wasn't expecting really anything big. I was expecting a few trades, but with the blockbusters with the Jets, was not expecting that. And I didn't expect Jerry Jones to actually deliver on his promise. He said, talking about, oh, I can't talk about this trade. First thing I saw was Logan Wilson. I'm like, 7th round pick, that's not really a trade I was, asking for. But Quinnen Williams, he definitely delivered. He definitely delivered on that promise with Quinnen Williams. We'll see if it helps. But... yeah, that's all to say for this trading deadline special. So, probably a few other little trades, but I haven't seen them or don't really care to talk about them. But yeah, peace.